Thanks for your time.
Hello.
Just two questions for you today. Do you regret not signing a striker, and have you written off winning the league? Just kidding.
Okay.
The England squad's been announced, and some good news around these parts because MLS has got the nod. Your reaction to that?
Very proud of him. It's a huge moment for him and for the club as well. Again, one of our graduates getting the call for England. It's a massive thing, so very happy.
They've been saying the right things, I think, Thomas Tuchel, about there were concerns about fast-tracking a fast tracker, but they can offer in the right environment. Have you been involved in those discussions before?
No, but I'm sure that will be the case. And Thomas is a top coach. I know a few people around him and the setup in England, and I have no doubt that they will do the right thing with him.
And he's confident that's not going to be any issue for him mixing in that kind of company, is it?
With Myles? I don't think so. No.
And obviously Ben White, not in the squad this time because obviously he's not been playing because of injury, but the mood music is good. There's a kind of mending of the parting of the ways it's healed. He wants to be involved again. Is that good news?
Yeah, well, I heard that there have been some positive conversations around it, so I imagine it will be about timing more than anything else, especially with the amount of time that he's been out with injury.
And no Ethan yet, that's probably just a step too far for him, but potentially in the future, another Arsenal youngster getting involved with England. Do you get a personal pride from that, the role that you've played with Myles and eventually maybe Ethan?
Yeah, I think we all do because obviously we are involved in their development and we know that it's one of the biggest dreams that you can achieve as a football player and a really proud moment. So being part of that, obviously, it's a great thing to be.
And a real kind of English core at Arsenal as well now, both in the English side and here at Arsenal. Is that something that is important?
Very important. I think culturally, because of our history and we are an English club, to have that DNA that represents as a club and then having a lot of academy players as well, I think it's something very, very positive, so very proud of it.
But just quickly before we move on from England, Bukayo Saka obviously not in the squad, injured. Any update on when we might see him back training? No,
he's getting closer. He's stepping up and making a very good progress, I would say. So let's see when we start to throw him in with the team, how he reacts and how fit he can get quickly.
The supercomputer, I love a supercomputer.
Okay.
They make you third favourites to win the Champions League, behind Barcelona and PSG, but ahead of Real Madrid. So you've got a say in whether Real Madrid win the Champions League or not. Talk to us about that draw. Are you pleased with
Well, a fascinating draw. I think you're going to play against the club with the biggest and more history in the competition, and very excited to play against them. But before that, we have 3 big matches in the Premier League.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Premier League. The same supercomputer gives you a 0.5% chance of winning the Premier League, a 99.5% chance, I'm not a statistician, of Liverpool winning the Premier League. So you're right, there is still a chance.
Into the next one.
Chelsea, 5-0 this time last year. You'd go for that again, wouldn't you?
Well, I think it's going to be a very different game, and I think the way they develop as a team as well is very impressive. What Enzo has done on the coaching staff, the amount of talent that they have in the squad. So yeah, a really tough match. I think we are our best as well. Big chance for us to win the game.
Raheem obviously was man of the match midweek. Played well, looked like he was enjoying himself. That could be the start of him maybe getting back towards his best for you, but unfortunately, obviously, he can't be involved on Sunday because of the deal with Chelsea. Is that bad for him? Would it have been good for him to carry on that momentum?
I think so, but it's what it is. We knew about that. He played well. He was contributing to the attacking goals that we scored as well. So very good. That's what we needed. Players in good form, in good spirit, good confidence, and certainly that performance is going to help him.
Sylvia from Premier League.
Hi.
Your players have spoken about how effective you've been getting the team into the right state of mind mentally. How has it been for you, though, mentally as a coach, to go through the seasons, develop the project, keep the boys resilient, hungry for more, and, the different challenges you face? We're nearly at the end of another season. It's gone quick.
Yeah, day by day. I mean, try to surround yourself with the right people that have the right expertise and can advise you to make the right decision. And after that, unpredictability is a big factor in this industry, and you have to adapt to it. You can have an understanding or a way of doing things, and from there, for sure, things will happen, and you're going to have to adapt, but go into the next day.
And Ben White, he returned to start 122 days after his injury, and 1 year ago today, he signed his new long-term contract. How do you think in this closing stage of the season he can really help the squad, even just being around them more and training?
Very much, and he's been now involved for the last 2 weeks almost, and he's not reacting, so that's very positive, and we know Ben is a really important player for us. He brings something very different to the team dynamic, and I'm thrilled to have him.
Your players have also spoken about how meticulous and knowledgeable you are when you do your analysis against opponent. It's very, very detailed apparently, very similar to Maresca, who likes to be very analytical. Chelsea next, big London derby at home. What sort of matchup do you expect? Like you said, it would be different to the 5-0. There's been a lot of change in their squad, injuries both sides.
Well, let's see. I think two teams that want to be very dominant in the way of playing, very aggressive on the high press and the way we have to have the ball. A lot of individual quality on that pitch. So it's about imposing what you want and the direction that you want to take the game and keep them very far from their strengths. I think that's going to be a key thing as well.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks, Chris Simon from The Standard.
Mikel, you touched a bit there on having a sort of British draw. I think you were here in 2012 when there was a famous photo. I think it might have even been here when Arsenal was there with Aaron, with Alex.
All the new signings.
Yeah, when all five of them together. I just wonder what your sort of memories of that and why that importance of having that British draw is in the club.
I think that's great. I think it attaches people to the football club. It makes them pride. I think everybody wants to see academy players, English player, driving and being the face of the football club. I think is really important, and I think it has to happen organically. You cannot force it, but especially with those two. Now it's really good news because they deserve to be where they are. They are doing great, and it's a bright future ahead of them.
And I know you'd like to sort of recreate that. Are there more behind Ethan and Myles that we maybe don't know about yet? Is there excitement for what's to come in the future?
Hopefully there are many more, but again, it's something that time will tell, and as Gary used the word fast-tracking players, if they are good enough, there is no problem to that, but at the same time, they really have to earn it to play at this level.
Okay, Tom, Football London.
Hi, Mikel. Ahead of the Youth Cup game the other week, we spoke to Adam Birchall, and he talked about the importance of keeping Ethan and Myles separate and not thought of as a pair, because they come through at the same time. We naturally kind of tend to think about them as a pair. Myles obviously got a senior call-up, Ethan hasn't. Do you think that in some ways will help them individually develop apart from one another in two separate teams?
Yeah, any comparison there I don't think is right. I think they have a very similar pathway because obviously they played so many years together, but after that, they're going to have different moments, and each career will be unique and individual for them, and they're going to have to earn it, and what one does is not going to reflect or affect the other one in a positive or negative way. So that needs to be totally independent. Is great. It's a luxury to have someone that you spend so much time, trust and love next to you on that journey. Use it in that way. That's it, and the rest throw it away.
And ahead of the weekend, it could be an opportunity for Gabby Martinelli maybe to get his first Premier League start since coming back. We've seen with the absence of a number of forwards, Mikel Arteta used as a centre forward. With Martinelli back, it gives you more options to change the front line. Do you see that front line structure kind of returning maybe to something more that we've seen in the past, or do you still see Mikel very much as a centre forward opportunity? No,
well, with Gabby now we have more options, but it's true that we have to really manage the load, and it's been a little bit ahead of a schedule, and that's why we didn't want to take, and we don't want to take any more risk with him loading in with more minutes.
Okay, last couple in the live section. Firstly, Art, Athletic.
I know you said you weren't involved in Myles' call-up, but I was just wondering because Thomas Tuchel said he kind of felt the vibe was very parental around how he was selected. I was wondering, throughout this season, have you kind of felt, I guess, a similar vibe of being almost a parental figure with not just Myles but Ethan as well, as young men coming into this environment?
Well, they have almost the age of my oldest son, so yeah, just for that factor, I can see a lot of similarities. But both of them, they have great families, their environment, and they are in charge of that part of education. Obviously, we have a big responsibility in a lot of things that are related to that as well, but they are in good hands. We are here just to support and guide them in many other aspects, and yeah, if they need something, they know that they can knock on the door and have that conversation.
And when we were in Spain with the Girona game, obviously there was big news when Myles' red card got rescinded, and he was asleep at the time, so he didn't have a chance to speak to him. I was wondering, have you had a chance to speak to him today about the call-up?
Yeah, and we all had, and we were all really, really happy because it's a really nice story, and a story that gives a lot of hope to a lot of young players, and that in 6-7 months your career can change drastically for the good, you know. So it's something for people to be inspired. I think it hasn't happened because he was lucky. I think he pushed for every chance to happen, and the way he's done it. So yeah, good example.